Hey YouTube, today we're going to take a look at a rather unusual example of the made in Japan 1960s, maybe 1970s, I'm not entirely sure, that era of the Teisco Kawai, the Asian invasion Japanese guitars that flooded the market. This is kind of a weird one. It's got a single pickup and it is a gold foil pickup. So stay tuned with me as we take a look at this old vintage single pickup gold foil made in Japan guitar. Man, this is a really cool old vintage case too here. Not sure the age on that case. It's in very good condition, but the zippers really scream vintage to me. So let's see. It zips on the bottom. That's very unusual. You can hear my chickens out there telling me they're laying some eggs for me. We're just about to get into the spring and the chickens are very excited. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Take a look at this. This is one of those, there's just buckets of brands that we're buying from Teisco and then Kawai, which obtained them. There's lots and lots of brands. This one is a Deco with 2 C's, Deco. And I was very impressed with the listing. I got this one on eBay and it was on an auction and got a particularly good deal considering the shape that it's in overall. And we're talking, you know, 60-ish year old guitar here. And you know, it's got some laminate cracks on the back and so forth, but it is complete, and there's a little bit of impact damage on the neck. Something that hit it at some point a few times, but that can be sanded and buffed down, and of course fine tune it and so forth, do all the various things I do to bring an old vintage guitar back. And you can see the paint in particular, it's got those cracks, and so I don't think they're not actually open splits yet, so I'm going to test a little corner of it with my carnauba. But if it's a true split, I'll probably use my Star Bond, which also works as a finisher. And you can tell it's well kept because look at the metal quality. It's, you know, there's no tarnishing, rusting, peeling, and so forth. The tuner's very, very well kept, and all the hardware. This is seen from the pick strikes. It's seen a fair amount of play. I wouldn't say huge amount, but it's seen a fair amount of play. So somebody did in fact play this. It wasn't just, you know, an attic or basement, or, you know, I don't know how much they played it exactly. Certainly not all that much for being this old, but that also means that it is quite well preserved. This era, they tend to have very like small, lightweight bodies, and they're all over the place in terms of it's interesting to see that spectrum of years. And some of the models, like this, is fairly to us traditional. The Stratocaster, when it came out, was a radical design for its time, but it's mimicking that style of body. It's very similar to the Stratocaster, but it's doing its own thing with the pickups, or well, pickup. This has got the one pickup, and there's the star of the show on this, and that is the gold foil pickup there. And I am not 100% about the construction of this, because at a distance it looks like it ought to be like a little mini humbucker, but you get up close and it's got the poles going down the middle. And you know, the whole gold foil thing is very divisive. I've only just dipped my toe in it because I've never owned a gold foil or even had the opportunity to play one previously. But I've read here and there, you know, articles and blogs and stuff, and there's a lot of divided opinion on whether it's just another pickup and it looks, you know, snazzy because of the cool gold, or does it actually give any tonal difference? And I don't know. That's part of why this one jumped out at me, was I was curious to see, you know, is the tone that much different, or is it just a cool, I mean, it's, regardless, it's a cool looking pickup, and it's a neat little guitar. It's very lightweight, feels, I'll have to get a measurement on it, but it feels very lightweight. It's almost certainly going to be a laminate body, and looking right there, it's almost certainly, and this is in that category of plywood guitars. Go over and take a look at, I've got an ongoing series looking at this Hondo, which this is much more of a straight copy in terms of it is copying the body configuration, the pickup configuration, the basic looks and everything directly from a Strat, whereas this one is a little, you know, more doing its own thing, and you can see that the body, even though it's of the same shape, is significantly smaller. The Teisco, Decca Kawai, whatever it is, this one is significantly smaller. So it's lighter weight and so forth. Now I'll get some measurements to see if this is actually a short scale or if it's a full scale or somewhere in between, or, you know, I'll, you know, as I get into this, be able to tell you more about it. But it's, you know, plywood guitars, there's a range of them, from everything just junk all the way to this Hondo 2. To look at it, you would not be able to tell that it is a plywood guitar. This one, I will give it some more looks. There's some giveaway spots that you can usually see little lines, which again was what super impressed me about this Hondo, is I've looked and looked and have not been able to find any ply lines. This one, if I look long enough, I probably will be able to find some ply lines on this. Yeah, I can see a little bit with the buffing. That but I'm, you know, having to look really close and catch the light, and it, you know, it's the kind of thing that it could just be ripples in the paint. It's almost certainly one of these laminate or ply body guitars. So stay tuned as we get further into this Decca Kawai Teisco made in Japan single gold foil pickup guitar. So I'm just checking everything out before I really get into the guitar and make sure the electronics work and everything. And let me take the snark off for a second here. I'm not making fun of anybody, but these are backwards wound on there, and the low E has got way too much, and then you can see the G has way too little. So the G, I'm not. I'm gonna need to clean out the jack too there. But it's as I'm tightening up, it's actually going down because it's not on there right. But anyway, so I'm gonna have to do a restring on this just to even play around with it. So, but I've been just looking at it, and the thing I'm most impressed with just out of the box is the neck on this is surprisingly nice. It's got a bound neck with a really cool vintage cream, and it's mated perfectly. And you see how nice the wood grain is on there. There's one leaf where it's been spliced here, but it's spliced very, very well. So unless you look really close, it just looks like wood grain. Very, very nicely done. And the neck is very smooth. And of course, it's got that cool, very different way, you know, and it doesn't have tremolo bar or anything. This is a hardtail, but very, very cool. Initial impressions, I'm very interested to get further in this. So check back in with me. I'm going to keep getting into this, and I'll be putting out new parts as I get deeper into it and share with you what I discover along the way. So you'll have a wonderful day.